Welcome to the TrotCast Revolution, presented by Diamond Creek Farms. I am your host, Jay Hochstetler, and I am joined always by...
always Ryan Macedonio. Jay, how you doing?
Oh, very, very good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So this week, you want to give the shameless self-promotion plug out of the way quick before we get on to our topic? What's going on this Sunday? Pinehurst, tell them, hit them.
So Ryan and I will finally be able to actually do a recording together. We won't be in separate screens for once.
That's right.
Ryan is coming to Pinehurst for our matinee race. The matinee is at Pinehurst. It's a pretty big event in the town. It gathers about 3,500 to 4,500 people. We race only 2-year-olds. They go slow, but people go nuts for it because it's the only racing they get to see in the state of North Carolina the entire year. Mm-hmm. So people outrage about it. Anybody that's in remote driving distance, hell, take a plane, take a train. I don't really care. The festivities start at 1 o'clock on Sunday in Pinehurst. It's going to be a hell of a time, and Ryan's going to be able to join in on the fun. He's going to do some videos, some interviews. It's going to be great.
That's right. We're gonna have fun, and it's a big party. So it's a party where there's horses. So come on, it's Pinehurst. Jay will personally pick you up from the airport, like he just said. I think he just said that. Yeah. Pretty sure you just said that, right?
Yeah, because Uber's not a thing.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Use Uber. So listen, come to Pinehurst. It's going to be a fun time. That's pretty much it, right? That's our shameless self-promotion. Yeah. Have some fun. We'll be there. Plenty of stuff that we're going to be doing next week, and we're going to showcase Pinehurst and show what they're doing. So this is a great event. So you ready to get into the topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to start or you want me to go?
Well, this is another one of your ideas, and I'm here to pick and prod and add a little bit to it. So
that's what we do. We come up with an idea. And we say, okay, how do we build upon that idea? And we think that this will be a great idea. So this kind of started with, there's always drivers' championships. We've seen, I went to the World Driving Championship, huge success. And I kind of pulled from that idea. And I also pulled from, there's the Miami Valley one. There's all these other driving championships. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? What about a team championship? So I started, a team championship. And it kind of went from our... NCAA trotting kind of thing, but then I wanted to morph it into pro harness racing, if we want to call it that. So here's the general idea, okay? We're going to have 9 teams, okay? 9 teams. And it's going to be state teams. So you're going to have a New York team, a Pennsylvania team, an Indiana team, an Ontario team, whatever the teams are. We'll figure that out later. 9 teams, 9 states, maybe Delaware and Maryland can be mashed into DC, and Massachusetts and Maine can be mashed into New England. Bring in some PEI, New England, whatever it is. But we want 9, 10 teams, whatever it is. And there's going to be 4 per team. 4 per team. Am I holding you, Jay? Are you intrigued so far?
You got me.
Okay, I got you so far. So 9 or 10 teams, 4 people per team. Now I know, Jay, you're saying why do we have 4 people per team? There's going to be different classes. Okay, this is where I'm going to pull you in, Jay. You ready?
I'm ready to be pulled.
Okay, so each class of the team, you're going to have 4 different riders or 4 different drivers. You're going to have a young class. It could be people who don't have 1,000 wins, or maybe an age limit, maybe a 25 years and younger, because here's the point. We want to give everybody their spotlight. So you have a young class, whatever that is. You have an amateur class. So you bring in all the amateur drivers from everywhere, because all these amateur drivers, the clubs are popping up everywhere. Everybody's so there's an amateur class. There's a pro class, which means, I think what this means is, Jay, do you think it'd be better to do the top wins driver or the top earnings driver in that state? What do you think?
I'd probably go wins, actually.
Okay.
I think, because if you go to, Delaware and Maryland, I think you could win a handful of the sire stakes there and be propped up in your earnings, but you're not necessarily the top guy there. It's both primarily condition classes. I think you should really go for wins in each department. It would you get the top guy at the local track is what
Okay.
you're really wanting to go for.
And now this guy, this is going to be the captain, the pro guy, the most wins in that state. That's what we're going for because we want this to be like a competition, a friendly rivalry. So the top guy in each state, automatic, boom. We'll figure out how to select the pro or the young class, and we'll figure out how to select the amateur class. Maybe those can be competitions in itself. But I think the pro guy automatically top wins in that state. Now, could there be guys that's the top in Pennsylvania and the top in New York? Is that possible? Maybe Aaron probably is going to ruin it.
Yeah. He. I don't know, because you'd probably have Georgie Knapp in Pennsylvania.
That's true. Okay.
So, because he doubles at 2 Pennsylvania tracks, so he would probably outdo Aaron because he only has the Meadows. So I don't think we'd have a problem with that.
Okay, so we got wins. The fourth class is the open class. I don't care how we pick that person. I don't care who he is. I don't care, but he's got to be from that state. He's got to be a representative of that state. It could just be a friend. It could be whatever. It could be a middle of the road guy. It could be another amateur. It could be another young guy. Whatever it is. It could be a trainer. I don't care who it is as long as they're a good representative of that. Do you have any suggestions for this fourth spot?
No, I kind of like that. It gives me a little bit of a vibe of the. I don't know how familiar you are with golf, but they have the Ryder Cup.
Okay.
And like the Ryder Cup has there's 2 teams and they have a captain, and the captain, he gets to select his entire team, and there will be they'll get fired from being a captain of the team because they made bad selections one year.
Okay.
I think it would be good to have the top driver. He makes that selection, and if he makes a poor selection, if we do this right with a lot of press and a lot of analysis on it, he can get crushed or congratulated for what he does in this situation.
Already we've created. We're going to have some sort of amateur tournament, whatever, or some sort of series that a mini, maybe a race card to select your own amateur driver. You can do your own young drivers cup or something like that. So we've already created pre-stuff, which is fantastic for this event. We've already created pre-buzz. And then, like you said, maybe some social media, LeBron James captain, all-star stuff with how the pro guy is going to select his open candidate, right?
Yeah.
So already we've got a bunch of press. How am I keeping you now, Jay?
Yeah, and I think the amateur already kind of has this. I don't know if they still do it, but I know when I was in the amateurs, they had the kind of driving championship at the Little Brown Jug, where there was 10 amateur drivers, and you had to earn your way into it through your participation in your own region. And I made it the one year, and it was great. It was utter chaos because there was 10 amateur drivers on a half-mile track, but it was fun. So the setup and the point system, I think, is already theoretically in place here.
Perfect. Yeah. So however so now we got our teams, 8, 9, 10 teams, whatever it is. Maybe we could do more. It was so successful having 11 guys on the World Driver Championship. Maybe we want to have bigger fields. Maybe we want to have, or restricted date. I don't know what tracks and stuff are going to be hosting this, but we'll figure that all out. So now that we got our race set, hold on one second. I forgot to plug my battery in. You gotta have your phone stuff charging, guys. You can't be that dumb. Listen, technical issues. I'm running all sorts of equipment. Like I got my battery pack here. Listen, suck it, deal with it. When you get your own TV show, and I drop Jay. Listen, when you get your own TV show, you can do whatever you want and you can make fun of it on yourself. So okay, I'm charging there. Because I don't want. Listen, I'm keeping all this in. Don't think I'm gonna edit this out. I gotta move that. So what was I talking about? We got our teams. We got our players. All right. Jay, can you hear me now? Jay's good. I'm good. I'm
You're
still
all
recording
good.
there. All right, so we got our teams, we got our players. We've selected our teams. Now, here's the general how I want to set it up. There's 4 classes. So we're going to have 4 races straight. An open class, all the open drivers race against the open drivers. The pros race against the pros, the amateurs race against the amateurs, and the young kids race against the young kids. But here's where it gets interesting. We got 8 races left. So what are we going to do? We're going to start mixing classes. So you got pro guys. We're going to have classes where we're going to have 2 pro guys or the amateur guys. So are going to go against the pro guys. So we're going to have, you may have to select your one amateur. Maybe these 4 teams have to select amateurs and these 4 have to select pros in this race. And they're going to go against each other. And then we flip it and those 4 get amateurs and those 4 get pros. And then the young guys get to go against the amateurs. So we're going to use the rest of the races to mix it up. So if you're a young guy, let's take McGuire Sowers. He just whooped some ass. My microphone's going up. It's all chaos here at TrotCast, dude. So McGuire just dominated up in Maine, right? So we're going to put McGuire on the New England Cup. Might as well. Now, McGuire's going to race against all the young kids. But now we're also going to put McGuire in a race with Georgie Knapp. When will that happen ever other than in this cup? They don't race. They're never going to race against each other. Maybe down the line when McGuire comes on, sir. But it gives the young guys a chance to race against the top guys. And the top guys, they got to puff out their chest and be like, I'm not letting this fucking kid come in here and show me what to do. So you're going to have instant rivalries. So what do you think about this whole idea?
I think the key thing there, I was thinking, you're mixing this all up. So you're going to get a night at the track where it's not buddy-buddy. It's not I got to race against this driver, 1,000 more times throughout this year. I better let him in so I don't get parked. Now it's going to be, I'm going to race against Georgie Knapp one time this whole year. He's getting parked.
That's right.
I'm here to win it for my team. The only guy that could possibly is not going to get parked is my own teammate. He's like, because maybe I can just take out this guy and my teammate will win. There's a lot of
no. There's no teammates. Remember, you're.
Well, I thought you said
you're your own representative.
I know, but you said if there's amateur versus pros,
right?
Wouldn't there be a pro from the same area as
what you do?
Amateur?
What you would do is you'd have like 2 races. So like race 1.
Oh, I guess so. You split it up where there's pros from one state, and then their pros are in the next state.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So you take.
Yeah, because only could be so many horses in the field. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
9 or 10 teams. Let's say it's
all right. So there's no actual teams inside the races.
No, there's no teams inside the races.
Okay,
no, it's.
But regardless, the point that a race, the whole teammate thing, you still have. There's no friendships on the track anymore.
None.
The only time you're going to be letting a guy in is if he's a favorite and you want to follow him. There's no just friendship holes, which happens at every track in America and drives a lot of bettors nuts. We're not going to have that tonight, so it's a great betting card theoretically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think overall, and I don't know if you want to do, if it's over the course of a weekend, I think having these guys, or maybe we could just do it at, I think over the course of a weekend or at a couple different tracks, I think it shouldn't be too hard to get all these guys together for a weekend and just hash it out. I mean, Miami Valley did it.
No,
yeah, right? I mean,
it's not hard. Getting people there and getting people I think you could have it where it encourages the horsemen to enter, so you'd have the guaranteed full fields that you obviously need for this. So, you amp up the purses a little bit for it. You make it a kind of an event night, a Friday or Saturday night. There's a lot of ways to you go about it where you're going to succeed with this. We've always said our first ever podcast was about a driver's challenge, and we always said a lot of people say driver's challenges suck, and they don't. It's just a way you execute it. So again, with this you execute it properly, you hype it up, you put some pomp and circumstance to it, and now you have a great event. And the bare foundation of this, with getting every region of the country, gives you an awesome event.
Yeah, and I don't think that it would be terribly expensive to host everybody and to bring everybody in. And I think that there's plenty. We've proved that there's plenty of money out there for the purses and things like that. So I think because the reason why I wanted to do states is because now you got the breeders involved somehow too, and I think that the breeders also would have a say in this event. And of course, listen, if you're representing New York, you want New York to win everything about New York. So maybe we can have some sort of stakes involved races, not have something at the home track. I don't know. What do you think some of those other ideas would be?
I think you could have a lot of qualifying things with it. If we're gonna let the if for example, if we let the captain, the top guy, if he got to pick each of the other 3 divisions, you could have a thing where I'm just spitballing here in terms of like he's watch. So you can just like have a thing online where he's it's made known throughout the public he's watching this race because there's a couple of young guys he's considering, and he's watching it, and then you can have him kind of critique like I really didn't like what he did there. That was a great drive by him. That was really impressive for me, and you can have that happen throughout a few weeks before the actual event, where you have some commentary and some analysis from your captain on these guys. And it's kind of a build-up to, who's he going to pick? He really didn't like the way that guy drove, but he seems like he's the best young driver, if you didn't watch all those other races. There's a lot of long-term build-up you can give to constantly keep this in the news, which I think is always the most important thing about driver championships.
I think you could almost plop it down like right now, like right in this time frame where, whether it's in a Sunday afternoon or something like that. I think a Sunday and a Monday or a Tuesday. I like the idea of this being more broadcast than an actual event at the racetrack. I want to see this on a Monday night. I think that'd be a great spot where most guys can travel and they'd be okay with doing this at whatever host track. And I think it would be a huge success.
Yeah, I think probably having – you'd hate to say, have it in the winter, but I think having it in the winter would be good in terms of scheduling. You wouldn't say, I can't make it because I have the stake race here and there. Like, no. This like you put it in this time, maybe a little bit before the Levy or something, so nobody has an excuse, or just schedule it during the middle of the week so it doesn't interfere with the Levy, and have it where there's no reason why somebody can't show up to it, and you kind of impress the importance of it in terms of an overall industry effect. So any guys like, I'm on vacation, like, no, just come for this weekend. There's guys that do that all the time. You had the Tetrick Miller Challenge at Pompano. So there's plenty of precedent for guys coming all it is 1 weekend. So it's not that big of a deal in terms of that.
Well, how do you think about this? How do you think of a winner take all versus a, kind of a, I like the idea of this being 25 grand to the winning team and that's it. Like, what do you think about that? And
I like that. I think that's the way to go. Absolutely.
And I think too, if let's say we're hosting this at Pocono or Metal, whatever track it is, or Hoosier, whatever. Listen, how much would it really cost to fly to bring everybody in? Some guys are going to drive, some guys are going to fly, and you have everybody there. Now you have 40, 50 drivers at your disposal on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
You could have it over the course of 2 or 3 days. And again, I like the idea. I don't want it on a Saturday night. I want it at the World Driving Championship. A lot of the best race, it was a Monday, it was a Wednesday, it was a Thursday. Like, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were the biggest nights because it was huge. Thursday night at PEI, it wasn't even a race, but it was just, it was a big event. But I like the idea of it being broadcasted, and you have all those guys there for media doing nothing. They're all at that racetrack, there for that whole thing.
Yeah.
The World Driving Championship, that was their job to do media. Like, you bringing in 40 of the top drivers and giving them the spotlight, and if you can't make an event out of that, I mean, it's huge. It's a huge spectacle.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the different regions you could do. If you're in New York, you have all the drivers go down to New York City, go to the Statue of Liberty, get some cool photo opportunities and cool things. Have them in their colors if you really want to. I think it would be a real eye-opening thing if you had all the guys in their colors in Times Square. That's kind of where my mind's going here, where you're kind of have people taking pictures. They have no idea who they are, so they're just snapping pictures with them. It's kind of where, and you can do that at any place where we're going to have this at. Everybody has their own culture, their own special spots and special areas. There's so many things, since they have no job things to do in the morning. They're on vacation basically outside of the actual driving. Like you said, they're at their disposal to really build this into a local and global thing.
Yeah, and I think you'll be able to generate plenty of content live, before, after. We already decided that leading the selections, how people are selected, whether it's tournaments or driver, some states may say, we're picking that guy because we want to pick our team. Other captains may say, I want to see a tournament. Go ahead. Yeah. Go race off, dude. I want to see the amateurs. 3 races. Boom. I want to see it.
And yeah, that could all go into the strategy of it. Like, oh, well, this team did all their picks and they finished last. Well, maybe they should have done a tournament and let the best decide instead of because maybe the captain was way too buddy with who he picked.
Mm-hmm.
It really goes into, there's a lot of strategy to it, and then you could have, now you're having DRF and all the other outlets kind of commentating on, oh, well, he picked this guy and here's why we thought that was the wrong decision, and now it's in the news every week, and now you're having something that is not just a one-off like most driver challenges are.
Yeah, and I think the idea of winner take all, I think that really just you aren't going to lose money because, again, we're bringing people in, and I don't think that it would be that crazy expensive to bring those guys in for a couple days, put them to work.
Miami Valley did it no problem. Like, so they just didn't do the media part, but that's not really an extra expense.
Yeah, I look at it as, if I'm going to lay out, let's call it 10 grand to bring you guys in, right? You're working for me. You're going to be posting.
Absolutely.
That's part of that could be part of the deal. Like, you're not here on vacation. You're here doing appearances. You're here doing social media. You're here doing interviews. Like, that's part of the gig. And since it's on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where we get everybody sitting around, that's prime time viewing night. Not, and sure, I mean, betting Yonkers has proven there'll be no competition betting these nights. It's a team competition. It could be just as big as the World Drivers' Championship and very compact. Everybody's doing their job.
And I think if anybody had a critique about the amateurs, I think this is where it actually becomes important. You said the $25,000 pot for these guys. Mm-hmm. Well, the amateurs can't take any money, but if you had the amateurs say, okay, I'm giving what does it work out to, about around $6,000, a little over $6,000 for each guy. He's going to give, you could say the amateur is giving his $6,000 to a charity of his choice. Now you have a ton of goodwill with it. You can try and bring the charities in to come view it and broadcast it for you. Have a guy that says, I'm going to give $6,000 to Make-A-Wish or whatever. Like, that's a great publicity stunt for you. It looks awesome, and it's a way to just get more and more eyes that would never have looked at it before onto your product.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, another idea to save harness racing, no matter how dumb people may think it is. Just go ahead and do it. Anything else? Any other great little things that we can pull from this? And I know that there's plenty of little things that we didn't hash out, but I mean, you have the idea, so we can figure it out. We can figure it out as we move forward. I mean, you start with the idea, right?
It's an idea, not an 11-page marketing plan like this would really actually need.
Right, yeah. But there's drivers' championships out there that just are kind of like, whatever. I really think, though, the winner take all on that is really, because I think you get guys that are still okay with, the different, I'm third, I'm fourth, whatever, I'm still bringing home a grand. Like, no, winner take all. Like, you'll see some, and I just think the mixing of the classes is what really will, and do you think we should put the mixed classes first or last? I think they should be last, right? Let the guys race against each other.
Yeah, let it be like an amateur against a pro, and the winner between amateur from New York and pro from Pennsylvania gets the $25,000 for their team. Like, you'd have them just demolishing each other on the track, and I would love to see some amateur just parking Georgie Knapp on the outside because he's trying to win this race. I think it would just, the theater of it would be outstanding.
Yeah, I would love to see, the final thing would be, the last two races are young versus the pros. So it gives, it really, the last two races, again, each team flips. I think that would be absolute great theater of how are these young guys going to stand up, and could they stand up? I mean, that is great theater. It would be the only time where everybody's like, oh, could the Alabama, football team beat the Cleveland Browns? Nobody will ever know, but here we would actually get a chance.
In harness racing, we can find out.
Yeah, here we can find out. So, anything else, Jay, before we pack this episode up?
No, I think we got it.
No. So, again, I'm Ryan Macedonio. Find everything at TrotCast. Visit TrotCast.com. Visit us at Pinehurst. I don't know. All my stuff is on TrotCast. So all the advertising I got to do, just go to TrotCast.com, at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that fun stuff. Jay, take us away.
I am Jay Hochseller. You can find me at JD Harness on Twitter. It's mostly filled with Walmart Yodel Kid. Thank you for joining us, and join the revolution.